let's move on to the stage of perplexity. Now, perplexity is tricky, okay? Because this is usually a moment of a lot of pain, a lot of confusion. This is typically called now deconstruction. So let me give you an example. When I was at university, I remember I was studying English studies, so English literature and English linguistics. And I remember skipping my class of modernist poetry because I wanted to listen to philosophical anthropology. And so I remember that listening to the ideas of this class and being exposed to other undergraduates that were discussing Karl Marx, Hegel, Plato, Aristotle, Albert Camus, Nietzsche, Derrida, Sartre, and all of these people. So it was like, oh my goodness, like I was almost like, it was a lot of complexity and many things that I didn't understand, and I still don't understand. I'm still studying and learning, but also perplexity, because the way I relate to knowledge is not in a way that is detached and it's just information. No, when I read things and study, this is almost like a personal quest, of finding answer. And so perplexity knocked at my door, and it was like I was having questions and I didn't have clear answers. And I remember that the authority figures that kind of like told me the basics, the simplicity stage, were not capable of providing answers that were at the level of complexity, and they weren't helpful either at helping me with the perplexity stage, where I was feeling a little bit disoriented because they themselves didn't necessarily face these questions, or because they didn't just have had the interest or the temperament to be inclined to dive more into this type of questions about life and death and meaning and values. And obviously this is at a articulated level, because obviously we all live through these values and meaning and things like that, but many people do not articulate and do not engage in these type of conversations, even though they clearly are guided by a conception of the good. And so basically this is a stage in which people leave their communities, they become really critical with the system, with society, with their families, with their cultural values, and so they become more suspicious about the true motivations behind certain power structures. And I think that it can be really frustrating to experience the mismatch, right? That maybe you are part of a community that is a simplicity stage type of community, and the gatekeepers of that community maybe at a complexity stage, but they really defend wholeheartedly many dualistic or simplistic way of looking at reality. And maybe you are going through perplexity, and the way they view your experience is like, oh, there's something wrong with you, just because they are not capable of helping you in that situation. So that mismatch of you going through one stage and your community that you are part of going through a different stage, of not being able to actually help people in this stage of perplexity, is just very painful. And a lot of people live, and this happens outside of religious communities. This is all kinds of communities at a individual level, but also at a communal level. So yeah, so this is so real.